Today we're going to be talking about the importance of obedience. Obedience, what an exciting topic. I'm sure we're all just loving the concept of obedience. But the Lord really did put on my heart to go deeper with this. Obedience is really easy to get caught up in. It's just about rules and regulations, right? Do what you're told. People tell you, whoever's in authority, here's what you're supposed to do. And then you just do it. That's obedience, right? Not really, actually. As we'll see, the Lord will actually talk to us about obedience in a way that is much deeper than just mere compliance. About how it comes from your heart, and it will lead to purer actions than if you just simply comply with whatever it is that you were told. Now, I know all of us, growing up, obedience probably was a very common theme, in all your life. I know it was in mine. What God wants us to do is really look at maybe three main ingredients to what actually makes up obedience. Those three ingredients are gratefulness, trust, and humility. Over the next three times that I preach, I'm going to really be diving deeper into these concepts, into how if you wish to be obedient, you have to have those three ingredients, or you will not be able to be obedient like the Lord is really after. And we're going to really be talking about how diving deep into yourself, into your own heart soil, is gratefulness buried deep within you. Because think about it, when we really get obedient with God, that is when the body of Christ really does come alive. And that is when his orchestra will sing out to a beautiful, to the dark world's great beauty. We will see that when we really do follow the Lord, the priesthood of believers gets ignited. We become a tree of life. The Lord dwells in us. He is the tree of life. He will do amazing things when we're obedient to his will. And so what I want to talk to you right now is a little bit more of the concept. And I know for you, maybe for you, I know for me, I wish obedience wasn't in the English language. I think we all have trouble with authority. Well, I shouldn't say that. We love when we're the authority, right? We love when people are obedient to us. When we have to be obedient to others, that's not so much fun, right? That part's not good at all. I remember growing up, I definitely my parents would always ask me to do a chore. They'd say, Matt, you should take out the trash, and here's what my response was. It was like they took a giant rock and just threw it on my back. Every little thing. I mean, I would usually do it, but I certainly probably made them feel bad for even asking. They probably thought I'm going to give this guy something. And I remember this one particular time. I was 19 years old. I was going through a whole lot in my life. I had given up my Air Force dream that I had, so I was in school, kind of going part-time, and I was working full-time. My parents thought this would be a good life lesson for Matt. We're going to have him start paying rent. I was already really bad in debt, and then they wanted to give me a curfew, too, to really teach me responsibilities. Yeah, 10 o'clock curfew. And I basically, in the very nice 19-year-old Matt, I was like, you get to have one or the other. You can have a curfew, or you can maybe pay rent, or you're not getting both out of me. I was a very good child, apparently. And so we kind of came to a standstill. My buddy Brad, I actually met him at the Christian Club at Bridgewater State College. And yes, I said Bridgewater State College, not Bridgewater State University, because I am that old. He actually needed a roommate, so I decided, well, I'll room up with him. I'm going to pay rent. I want to be able to come and go as I please. And I've always wanted to kind of be on my own and be independent, not relying on anyone. I thought this would be absolutely incredible. It really was not. And so this one particular time, I was going to my babysitting gig. I fell asleep at the wheel. I crashed into two cars. Totaled my car, pretty sure totaled theirs. And if you saw my car, it's kind of a miracle I'm even still alive. I definitely know why the Lord allowed it to happen, because my car got wrecked. I was all the way down in Bridgewater. I was working in Stoughton at the time. That's a pretty far commute to go without a vehicle. Public transportation really not going to cut it. So I talked to my parents, and they were gracious enough to actually allow me back. I mean, we actually did leave on good terms, which was important, which my understanding of other parents, when they kid wants to leave and says, good, there's the door, don't ever come back. They let me come back, at least just for the temporary. But then it actually turned not so temporary. And we decided, I will stay there again. The debts that I had accumulated living on my own, even when I was on my own, I had no money for anything, barely just covered rent, and then all my debt really wasn't covering it. Needless to say, I left limping. I came back in a wheelchair financially with this whole situation, but I got my freedom. But I really learned a valuable lesson in gratefulness and obedience. I didn't really appreciate where I was. I didn't really understand the beauty in obedience. And it's really easy to discard things when you don't have a true appreciation for it. You know, as they say, let things go. If they really do, belong to you, that they will come back to you. And when things leave your life, that is when its true value is revealed. It's really messed up that we humans have to go through that. We usually have to lose to know what it is we had to begin with. Because my situation really blew up in my face. But believe me, would I ever become more grateful of the loving home that I had left because I wanted my freedom and realizing the value of obedience. Now, when speaking about disobedience in the Bible, if I actually wanted to cover everyone who was disobedient in the Bible, well, we would still be here next year talking. I wanted to pick a particular story. In fact, it's actually interesting. My mother actually was reading Quiet Time, and God really kind of spoke to her about Achan. You remember him or not? His disobedience when Israel was first coming into the Promised Land. He really put it on her heart and gave it to me. And then I was reading it, and I was thinking, all right, God, what do you want to speak on? And the lessons of disobedience just started flowing through. So the story of Achan is in Joshua 7, verses 1 through 26. But to understand the full scope of Achan's disobedience, you have to go back. So the story is set up, we all know the story. Israel, they got freed from Egypt, right? They spent 40 years in the desert. The things that the Israelites, when they left Egypt, I'm not sure if any person has saw the wonders and frankly the insaneness of what God did with those 10 plagues. And then the parting of the Red Sea. And then having them survive in the desert. They never went hungry. They never went without water. Their sandals never wore out. Their clothes were fine. Everything just kind of stayed. That is a miracle. I mean, I'm not even sure if I'd last 40 hours in the desert, let alone 40 years. But the divine hand of God was there and present. So Achan obviously was not of that generation, but he grew up with that generation. And then, when they're getting ready to cross the Jordan, the first city that they're supposed to come across, it's not some, snowflake place. It's not like God said, I'm going to throw you a nice little softball pitch. Nice and calm. We're going to have you go and attack a soft military target. You'll be able to take it over, no problem. No, he pretty much gave them the most difficult military task. Maybe not even just in Israel, maybe one of the most difficult military tasks ever. Because these people are not trained soldiers. They were slaves. I'm not even sure how many weapons they actually did even have. And the walls of Jericho were legendary. Had been there for so long. Basically impenetrable. And it wasn't just that they had walls, they had garrison, and they had troops who knew what they were doing. In fact, the whole reason why Israel had to wait 40 years, because they looked at the land, they saw these giants, they saw these fortified cities, they thought, we can't do that. And God's saying, I can, but you don't believe in me. You're being disobedient. I'm saying go, and you're saying no. You're not grateful over what I have done and what I will do. So this is where Achan is. And God gave some very crazy commands. In fact, I've never heard of a military strategy of, hey, let's go for 6 days. We'll just all go around and march around Jericho once, and then we'll leave. And we'll do that every day. The 7th day, we're going to do something different. We're going to march around it 7 times. On the 7th time, we're going to blow our trumpets, and we're all going to go, Yah! War cry. And then feel like the Jericho people were more surprised than anyone else at the fact that when that war cry happened, those walls came tumbling down. They crumbled like your favorite cookie in your hand. When those walls came down, the Israelites rushed in. And they took over that city. Now the Lord told them before they go into that city, listen, I'm going to give you lots of plunder. Just like that passage that Alexa read. I'm going to give you cities that you did not build. I'm going to give you wine presses that you did not create. I'm going to give you houses full of goods that you did nothing to achieve. He's basically saying, I've got this, guys. Trust in me. Do you remember what I did to the Egyptians? Do you think that I'm not powerful? Do you think that I don't love you? Do you think I don't care? But don't touch anything in Jericho. Yes, some of the riches will be put into the Lord's treasury, but almost all of it needs to be burned up, needs to be consecrated to me as a sacrifice. The people put to the sword, except for Rahab, because she did help out. That's what I need you to do. Do this for me. I will take care of you, but take care of me first. Give me a tithe. That's really what God asked. He said, Jericho is my tithe. I'm going to pretty much give you the rest of the things. So this is the instructions. Very, very clear. Very easy to understand. But once Achan gets in there, I can only imagine what was maybe going through his head. He saw a lot of good plunder, and he took it, which was against the Lord's command. Now, what was interesting is no one knew Achan actually did this. Really what happened was, when they went to go attack Ai, they lost. And that was a very small military target. In fact, they actually didn't even send, they sent a fraction of the troops that they sent to Jericho. Jericho, they sent everyone. This next military target, they're like, oh, this will be nothing. God got us Jericho, God will give us this city. And we're just going to bulldoze all over the land of Canaan. They lost. They were demoralized, and they were shocked. Joshua ripped his coat. He was like, God, what's going on here? I really thought that we were going to defeat them. When God responded back, he said, Israel has sinned against me. Consecrate the people. Tomorrow I'm going to reveal to you who took things from Jericho when they weren't supposed to, who was disobedient. So they consecrate the people. Next day, all of Israel comes out. Now imagine this picture. Someone knows someone did something wrong. No one knows who, except for the person who did it. Of course, no one knows it was just one person. For all they know, that many people actually did this. So God has, the tribes there. He says, okay, it's the tribe of, Judah. So now we have the tribe. Then we go down to the clan. We go down to the family until the last person standing is Achan. Which he must have been Achan in his boots. Sorry, I just couldn't resist that joke. And then Joshua goes up to him and says, What have you done? Is this true? Have you sinned against the Lord and against Israel? He went, yeah, I took the stuff. I actually hid it underneath, my tent. I dug a hole in the floor in the soil. I buried it there. I took, a beautiful robe from Babylonia. I took 200 shekels of silver, a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels. He says, I coveted them, and I took them. And then, of course, he hid them. And that right there, and then, of course, after they took all the goods, they burned it, and they stoned him. They did not leave him alive. This is a very tragic story. And whenever you have ungratefulness in your heart, I guarantee you, it will end in devastation. Before we really dissect Achan's story, let's go into a parable, shall we? And I really feel like is just the just the epitome of ungratefulness. Is actually the parable of the unmerciful servant that's found in Matthew 18:21 through 35. In this parable, you have this king. He's getting ready to settle his accounts. So he calls all kind of his servants. He particularly calls this one guy who owes 10,000 bags of gold. Now, I actually tried to do the math. I tried to figure out the value in modern day time. No one really knows how much money fully that would be, except for it probably is in the millions of dollars. Like, it is such a massive debt I'm pretty sure that we don't all make enough money in our lifetime to actually match what this guy owed this king. Millions of dollars. He couldn't pay. King's solution simple. I'm going to throw you in jail. I'm going to sell all your family, and then your debt will be paid. Fair enough, right? You can't pay your debt. You owe me millions of dollars. I think that is fair. God fell to his knees. He said, please be patient with me. Let me, give me time. I will pay this back. That really touched the king's heart. He said, your debt is forgiven. All of it. Go. It's like, what? How does that even happen? So you would think that this guy would be like jumping for just glee, just as happy as you could be, grateful beyond all understanding. I just got millions of dollars forgiven. I never have to pay back. I don't owe him anything. There's no strings here. It's not like, hey, work for me for free for the rest of your life and your debt's free. No, there was no stipulations. There was just forgiveness. There was mercy. You'd think this guy would then carry that out. No. First thing he does is he goes to someone that owes him money, 100 silver coins, which is a fraction of what he owed. He didn't just go to this guy and say, hey, you owe me some money. Can you pay when you can? No, you want to know what he did? He grabbed him by the throat and started choking and saying, you will pay me back. That's my Sith Lord impression. Oh. That's what he did to this guy. Crazy. And then when the guy couldn't pay him back, that unmerciful servant had that guy thrown in jail. Well, all the other king's servants saw this and went, oh no, this is not happening. They rushed the king and said, hey, that guy that you forgave millions of dollars, he just threw someone else in jail for owing fractions of what he owed you. Think the king was pleased with that? No. That king was furious. He said, you wicked servant, I canceled all of your debts because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant just as I had on you? The king handed him over to the jailers to be tortured in jail until he could pay back the debt. I want you to take a moment here, just really think. Achan's unmerciful servant. It's the same story. And by the way, it's also everyone's story. We all do this. Now remember, Achan saw things that would not have made sense, except for we have an amazing God. I mentioned before the knowledge he had on what God had done to Egypt. If you think, wow, why would God beat up on Egypt? It was God punishing Egypt. It was him trying to humble Egypt. It was also him trying to demonstrate his power so you could trust him. He was trying to give you something to be grateful for, which if you think about it, shouldn't God just be enough? Yes, but that's not the God that we serve. He gives us so much more to be grateful for, to earn our obedience. So when you're thinking about, Achan and his mind and how you did not have an attitude of gratitude, but you had spirit of covetousness. The merciful servant was the same way. He wanted to claw and take whatever he possibly could. I'm not going to wait for someone to give it to me. I'm going to take fortune. I'm going to take this life. I'm going to own it. It's going to be mine. I'm going to take care of myself. They felt entitled. Achan was explicitly told what to do, but he didn't believe it. Even if he wouldn't admit it out loud, from his actions you can tell he did not believe that God would take care of Israel, would take care of him. And at the end of the day, is it really about God taking care of us? No, it's not. It's about God bringing us to where we need, not where we want. And obviously, Achan had a lot of wants. Now, one of the things that we'll be talking about in some of the other sermons is just about how much Israel didn't deserve the promised land. How easy is it to forget when God says, here's what I want to give you? Your first thing should be, I don't deserve this. Yet, here he is, hand out, trying to give this to me. They didn't deserve the promised land. They didn't deserve the homes that they would be given that they didn't build. These fields of crop. Israel is actually a pretty fertile, place. Had the Sea of Galilee with all of this fish inside of it. It was the land of milk and honey. It's the promised land we're talking about here. They didn't deserve it. Just like that servant didn't deserve to be forgiven. They didn't do anything. That's what you've got to remember here. As much as we want to look and say, well, I did this, did you really? Because at the end of the day, you can't do anything without the Lord. That's where pride creeps in. That's what Lucifer is. Lucifer is, look how great I am. Christianity is supposed to be, look how great God is. That's the difference right there. So when you're looking at these two people, one just saw a city get taken down in an incredible fashion. It shouldn't have happened, ever. I mean, sound taking down walls, maybe it splits a crack, but it doesn't make sense for what took place there. To have a king decide, I'm going to forgive you millions of dollars just because he felt bad for the person. That stuff doesn't happen. Yet that's what happens with God. I mean, that servant, no jail time, keeps his family, debt forgiven. So one of the big things when you're coming about gratefulness, to get obedience, is your self-talk. What is going on in that head of yours? Unconsciously, subconsciously, consciously. Both of them had a sense of entitlement that led to covetousness. See, the thing is, if you want to be grateful, you have to focus on the things that you can be grateful for. If you focus on what you don't have, guess what you will always be feeling? Empty, pining, unbalanced. You are always going to be feeling you need to have just this thing, and then you will be complete. But guess what? You'll never get that. You are a black hole. You will keep consuming and never, ever be filled. This is what their self-talk was. I deserve this. This opportunity is here. Let me take it. Crime of opportunity, if you will. For Achan, he saw these things later on and said, I know this is supposed to belong to God, but what if we don't conquer any other places? What if we die? At least I can have this. Maybe Israel gets disbanded, but I can have this and I can start a life. Or either way, maybe I can actually become a king out of this, or become very powerful. I'll just keep taking a little bit here and there. What was interesting is that he went and took it and dug it into the soil, buried it right underneath his head. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He really didn't seem really repentant over it. He knew he sinned. But you see inside of his spirit that inside his heart soil, he had ungratefulness. And that is why he put those things there. The physical soil that he dug in is the same as the spiritual soil. And when they pulled up the stolen goods from the physical soil, it revealed what was in his heart soil. Ungratefulness, selfishness. He was really thinking about himself. He didn't really think about that my mistake is actually going to cost people's lives. Now, not everything of our situations are going to be as dire as it literally is going to cost someone's life. But you don't know what cost it could be for others. That is why selfishness is so terrible. Because it means I don't really care what happens. Maybe I want good things to happen. But at the end of the day, if it's you or me, it's going to be me. Imagine if Jesus had that philosophy. Imagine if that king had that philosophy with that servant. He said, no, I'm going to actually put your needs above my own. I'm going to forgive you your debts, something you didn't deserve. So the question really begs for yourself, what is buried in the soil of your heart? If we were to dig really deep to where only God could actually see, what is there? Is it those stolen goods? Is it ungratefulness? Or do you have a true spirit of gratefulness because you're focusing on all the things that God has done? If you can walk How often are you grateful for that? If you can see, if you can hear, if you can smell, if you can taste. Heck, even if you're just alive. Are you grateful for the job that you have, even if it's miserable and you need to move on from it? Are you grateful that you at least had it? Are you grateful for the people that you've been able to meet and interact with? Are you grateful for the home? I work in Boston, and my wife now does too. And our walks make us encounter at least almost 3 homeless people every single day. They don't have a home right now. And I don't know about you, it is freezing cold. My heater can barely keep up with it. That's my problem, right? The heat in my house is barely keeping up with the coldness. But there are so many people that have no food, have no heat. When they come home, some people come home to their home. It's not a home. It's a place where they get berated. It's a place of just torment. Are you grateful that that's not you? And you are not better than those people. That is where gratefulness needs to be buried deep into your heart. You don't deserve this life. We've been given it. It is a gift. Nothing in life is an entitlement. That mentality will bring about the ruin of society, and we're seeing it. Are we like Achan? Are we like that unmerciful servant? Are we focusing on that next purchase, which, by the way, I gotta be honest, I am so guilty of that. That's why I had to file bankruptcy. I was not smart with my money at all. I wish that 19-year-old Matt learned his lesson. No, it took about almost another decade. And then generally I got the lesson. So this isn't just a few people. This is something that all of us struggle with. And so when you're really looking at yourself going forward into this new year, what kind of person do you want to be? Are you a person who's going to focus on the negative and all the bad things that are going on and all the things that you don't have in your life? Or are you actually going to take stock and say, you know what, God? As bad as I might have it right now, there is always someone worse. Man, I'm grateful for this. When I was over in Africa, a poor person here would be rich over there. Having a car or even having heat and electricity, these people had on average 2 pairs of clothes, one to wear to church, one for everyday usage. And guess what? They were happy as can be. You think that wasn't humbling for me when I was over there? It was. They had gratefulness buried deep in their heart. They were grateful just for whatever took place that day. They were grateful to wake up, to breathe in the air. So when you look around you, start realizing all that God has done for you. Really let gratefulness not be something you do. Let it become who you are. Dig down deep into your hearts. Let God do this. Scoop out all the stuff that is in there. All the stolen goods, all the stuff that you put in there that you said is important. All of your entitlement, all of your ungratefulness. And let gratefulness become a defining characteristic of who you are. That you appreciate all that the Lord has done. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we are given now a new year. And we celebrate the birth of your Son. It is so easy for these just to become formatted in the way that we operate. They're just mechanic, devoid of all emotion, devoid of all meaning. And we just simply just try to survive day by day till the day that we die and then we get the release. What a sad existence most of us live doing that. Life is supposed to be joyful. Life is full of wonder and amazement. It is full of hardship, and that is what crafts us and carves us deep into becoming grateful, humble, trusting, loving people, hanging on to every one of your words, like Mary did at the feet of Jesus. Lord, help us as we go forward to become as grateful as you are, because I know when you walk the world, you were grateful for every interaction that you had. You loved, and you appreciate all the little things, Lord. May we have that same spirit, Lord. May our focus not be on all of the tasks and all the things that we have. Though they are tough, we would never not recognize that. We would never not recognize the danger of the world but we would learn to be grateful and allow your light to help us walk on water through these adversities, Lord. We love you. We want to be your body of Christ. We want to be your priesthood of believers. We want to see you, the tree of life, come to the world, and may your fruit nourish it, give it shelter, give it shade. We love you, Lord. Forgive us for all that we have done. Help us to be more. In Jesus' name, amen.